What up, y'all? What it do? Let me put my seat back a little bit, man. Let me recline in this motherfucker. Blessings to the game, man. All praise be to the Most High. You feel me? About to get into one of these hot topics again. You know, in a minute, I'm about to start putting everything on. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we back. What up, bro? But yeah, all praises be to the game, man. You know, let's just talk about a few topics, man. You know, first topic I want to bring up is, you know, how you got to make yourself a slave to the game you want to play in. Think about it. The slaves had no choice in the matter of the work that they did. You know what I'm saying? Well, some did. You know, some were skilled carpenters. Some were skilled blacksmiths. Locksmiths. Some were skilled, with that cotton gin, you know what I'm saying? And some was skilled just picking cotton, knowing how to pick that cotton. That ain't no easy job. But just think if what you wanted to do, you made yourself a slave. Mentally, you made yourself into a slave for whatever goal or dream it was you wanted to actually accomplish, man. So my thing is, what's stopping you? You know, you'll go to work every day. Like, people be slaves for GM. There's plenty of next tier slaves. You know, it's plenty of McDonald's slaves, Taco Bell, Denny's. You know, it's plenty of slaves who work for Macy's. It's plenty of slaves who work for TGI Fridays, man. It's plenty of slaves that'll go out here and, you know, you'll punch the clock and put your hardest work in and effort in for somebody else, man. But what about putting that effort in for yourself? What about taking all that time and effort that you take and you go to your job and become a slave, and yes, sir, and I'm going to do it now, sir, and you didn't want me to do that, sir, and you get what I'm saying? Take that same energy and create you a business. Take that same energy when it comes to your kids and start to try to figure out what is it they're good at, what do they like to do, and make them study that from a young age. Make them, like I say, this ain't about slavery, man. This is about the mentality of how the slaves work. You get what I'm saying? Them slaves had to work. They was forced to work, or they was beaten or killed. You ain't gonna be beaten or killed if you don't work. So you wanna know what? I kind of line that up with why people ain't, you know, as successful as they could be. Because if a slave was forced to do something until they got it right, and you're not forced, but you could force yourself, you could be your own master and you could be your own slave. But, you know, that's just, like I say, that's just how I look at stuff. You know what I'm saying? Me being an entrepreneur, I ain't the type of person that like to take orders, that like to, you know, listen to a boss or have a boss in particular. A lot of these people abuse their power. A lot of these people get into that position, they abuse their power, they come in thinking they know everything and you don't know nothing. And a person like me, that it just don't fit. It just don't fit for my life, man. I've worked in the plant. I've been a forklift driver. I've been on the floor separating dunnage, getting trash out that shit, wiping it down, cleaning that shit out, getting debris out of it, getting it prepackaged and ready to go back on the semi-truck that I just got it off of, and doing this all day. Being a slave for different companies. That shit ain't helped me. That shit never helped me. It helped that company, though. And at the end of the day, what I learned, though, is I could be the greatest employee. I could be the greatest slave of the year. Multiple years. I could do it for 20 years. I'm the greatest slave of the year every year. That nigga right there, that boy right there, he sets an example for how all y'all should work. But at the end of the day, they'll get rid of my motherfucking ass and replace me with somebody who don't have no experience like that. So, yeah, man, this topic is about turning yourself into a slave to complete your own goals and ambitions, man. Don't nobody else gotta force you to work. You gotta force you to work. See, and that's the problem, man. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker be lackluster in performance and wonder why they don't get the results. I've always been the type of nigga that's an overperformer, man, an overachiever. When it's something I want to do, I'm going to mastermind it. I'm going to study it. I'm going to research it. I'm going to put the work in. I ain't going to complain about that shit. So that's why I be hard on women the way I be hard on them. Because I know if you come into my life, you going to benefit from the type of person I am. I don't drink cheap liquor. I drink expensive bottles of Patron. I don't drink the green Patron. I drink the Añejo Patron. So it's just everything about me is tweaked a little bit to not be cheap. Like a person might go in and want the cheap bottle. I never drink that shit. A person to go into the dispensary and look for the best deal. I never do that shit. I want to know where the most expensive weed you got and why is it the most expensive weed. I ain't never going nowhere looking for nothing for cheap. I'm not no cheap ass nigga. So a woman has to understand that, okay, if I got this man in my life, yeah, my woman has to spoil me because that man is going to spoil her. I'm going to spoil you. So if I don't get that same energy, it's about energy with me. If it ain't reciprocated, then I can't, we ain't going to last. I understand it's going to take work. I understand it's going to take more effort than most. And that's where I lose a woman at because they don't want to put in that extra effort. You know, when you working out and you already did your reps, but you still got some to go a little more, I'm that go a little more nigga. I ain't about to just do my reps and it be over. I'm about to motherfucker. If I'm running 30 minutes and I run them 30, I'm about to put 15 more minutes in. That's just what I do. I ain't never been that type of nigga that just, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never been the type of nigga who do no shit like that. What they say, D?
Nothing. They just gave me the medicine and told me to go get the antibiotic tomorrow. Because they said the dose that I got now, they said it's just enough for the day because they gave me a double. They gave me a double dosage of it.
Sit back on my camera, man. You don't want to be in this live. I'm talking about women and bullshit ass niggas. You don't want to be involved in that shit, trying to smoke my joint and calm my nerves and just go over some of these topics, man, that these people need to hear, man, you know? But, yeah, man, it's just about effort with me. It's about energy and effort, man. And the moment I see your energy and efforts don't match, then the moment I can't tolerate that. It's hard to deal with a nigga like me for real, man. I'm not bipolar and I'm not tricky. I just require the same effort that if I was a slave master, I require that same effort. You know what I'm saying? Nope. Ain't no days off. Ain't no quitting. Ain't no giving up. Ain't none of that. Because I don't have the ability to do none of that shit. I can give up and then my life falls apart. So I don't have those same luxuries that people have. I don't have that same help that people have. I'm always looking to figure things out and make my life better. And when people come into my life, you know, I look at them as resources. I don't bring people into my life that isn't a resource. So, you know, it has nothing to do with no pimp shit, but it has everything to do with the game. That's why I say blessings to the game. If I didn't have this game is knowledge. If I didn't have this game, I couldn't give y'all this. I couldn't give y'all a higher level conversation. I couldn't come to y'all every day and try to, you know, discuss different topics and ask different questions that needs to be asked. You know? Y'all still ain't went up there and supported my homeboy on Genesee with the dispensary. You got to support these black-owned businesses, man, right in the hood. You would drive right past that and go to a white dispensary and look at me because I paid top dollar for the weed, but I'd rather smoke better weed than you than smoke the same weed as you. That's just who I am, man. It's just how I was built, how I was made. I like fine stuff. I like fine fabrics. I like the finer things. I'm not a settler. I'm not a cheapskate. That ain't gonna satisfy me. What satisfies me is the fact that I can afford what everybody else can't afford. That's my passion. I'm passionate about being able to do some shit can't nobody else do. I don't gotta go on these trips. I ain't gotta post none of that shit on live. I ain't gotta do the shit that y'all do. I ain't gotta search for validation and seek out attention. I don't need that shit. I'm good all alone with the Most High, getting the Most High, man. That's all I need. I'm comfortable just like this. I'm happy like this. I'm having a great time just like this. I don't need no company. I don't need no insight. I don't need nobody trying to tell me how to live my life. See, when you have a woman that's in your life, most of them going to be trying to tell you and dictate how you supposed to live, how you supposed to do this, how you supposed to do that, and they don't be following none of their own motherfucking rules. It'll be the same motherfucker trying to tell you about you fat, and she's fat too. It'll be the same motherfucker trying to tell you about how you don't manage your finances, right? And they don't manage their shit either. So the best thing you can do is figure out you on your own. Once you figure that person out, you better that person. You correct the wrongs, correct the flaws, work on yourself. That's why I say turn yourself into a slave. Beat your own ass. Tie yourself up and whoop your own ass like a slave. Be hard on yourself. Because for one thing that I know, the world is going to be hard on you. The world, sometimes the Most High love you in a way that you won't ever feel neglected. But I have had the Most High put me in jail where I had to learn that, you're being punished for a reason, man. This ain't just for nothing. You try to blame everybody else for what you're going through and everything that happened in your life. But then at the end of the day, while you sitting there, you come to the conclusion that, nigga, you in here because of you. Everybody not in here because somebody else committed a crime. Motherfucker, you was driving with no license at the time. And you ain't gonna handle your responsibilities. And now you in here. And what's even more, crazy and delusional about the way I used to think is on top of thinking that it was somebody else's fault, it's like, nigga, you ain't even had a bread to bail yourself out. That taught me a valuable lesson right then and there when I was in jail. It was like, nigga, you can't never come to this bitch again and not have no bail money, nigga. You gotta have a way to get up out of this motherfucking county, dog. You cannot sit in this motherfucker for 30 days for some petty ass bullshit. A civil infraction. You ain't got civil infraction money, bro. But you around here, you a slave for GM. You so happen to work all week, y'all get one day, y'all want to go out, y'all partying, you get drunk as a motherfucker. You on your way home, you get pulled over. You catch a DUI. Now, you didn't work for GM or whatever company that you worked for all this time, and you ain't even got enough money to bail yourself out, to get a lawyer. Now you got to, use some credit. Now you got to, rely on the resources. That's why I say you got to have the resources. It's good to have resources, man. Don't get it twisted. And don't get with women that don't want you to have no resources. Like at the end of the day, multiple women are resources. Now, if we can do this with multiple men to where, okay, yeah, I got multiple homies where I can depend on, then that'll be cool too. But that ain't reality, man. Niggas aren't reliable. Niggas aren't reliable, man. You can't depend on a nigga like you can depend on a woman. See, it's pluses to having multiple women. And I'm not saying having multiple women that you sleeping with or having multiple women that's your wife or your girl. It's just, I would rather have relationships with multiple women friends than have multiple male friends, because niggas be in they feelings just like females, but the only difference is the female gonna let you know. The nigga gonna try to make it seem like he ain't in his feelings. He gonna try to make it seem like it's something else. When, nigga, you in your feelings like a bitch, nigga. It just is what it is. And these niggas get deep in their feelings, bro. That's how these niggas is getting killed right now over females, man. How are you killing? This is what I don't understand. How do you kill somebody that you ain't gonna never see? I mean, you gonna kill somebody for somebody that you will never see again. You will never see this person again. This girl gonna be out here on a whole nother nigga. You ain't gonna never hit that again. You ain't gonna never see her again. She ain't coming to see you while you locked up because you killed this nigga. You ain't saved her life. You actually ruined her life. And guess who? More importantly, you ruined your own damn life. And you ruined your life over a woman who you done killed somebody for, who can't even get you out of that situation, man. See, you will put yourself in a vulnerable situation dealing with the wrong type of people, man. You have to be careful of the people you surround yourself with. That's why it's important to only deal with people that's resourceful. You know? At times, you know, I look at Saginaw, man, I get discouraged. But then sometimes I get a motivation and inspiration from being from here and making it to 37, being as old as I am, accomplishing the things I have accomplished. But it comes from the blessings that I have received from the game. It comes from the drug dealers. It comes from the pimps. But it also comes from the pastors. It comes from my grandparents. It comes from my parents. It comes from my aunties, my uncles. It comes from the people who cared about me. But it also came from people that didn't care about me. See, they showed me why love is so important. Why, respect is so important. So I learn from both sides. I don't just learn when something good happened. I learn more when something bad happened. I just choose to apply my game in different ways, man. My game is different than your man's game or the niggas that's chasing her game. That nigga may be just a sex crazed maniac. You get what I'm saying? And most men, yes, we want some sex. Sex will make a nigga crazy, especially if she got that good. You will make a nigga lose his mind. But at the end of the day, it ain't about that with real men. It's about the power of his knowledge. It's about the progression of the process. Or what I mean is the process of the progression. How far are we along from yesterday to today? Where are we going? What are we doing? What can this game teach us that'll keep us motivated? What can this game teach us that'll keep us inspired? See, you can't blame me for using the game to get ahead. But you could blame me if I did not use my knowledge and use my brain and use what everybody taught me in my life. And that's why you need, like I say, resourceful people. You need resourceful people. You need that thug nigga. You need that murderer nigga. You need that whole bitch. You need that good woman. You need that good man. You need that pastor and his wife teaching you the game. Everybody comes with different levels of game. You got to know how to use that game, man, to stay alive. Use that game to get ahead. That's why I say, you can't fault me for using it. But you would be able to fault me if you knew that I knew better and I wasn't using my game. See, that's why I don't be having time to play games. One day, man, I woke up because when I was a young nigga, I was childish. I played a lot. I was the class clown. I was always trying to make motherfuckers laugh, trying to be the life of the party and make people happy. Man, one day some shit snapped in me like, nigga, fuck that shit. You don't have to make nobody happy but yourself. If you ain't happy, what does it matter if I make this bitch happy or make this nigga happy or make they family happy or even my own family happy? What's the purpose of them being happy if you ain't happy, man? You ain't finding no joy in yourself. You ain't finding no joy in the things you like to do. But you want to know what you will do is you will sit back and think that, okay, making these people happy will make me happy. When that ain't the truth, man. You got to find something within inside yourself that makes you happy, man, because that's where Joy is. It's within. It's not outside. It's not in this broad. It's not in this nigga. It's inside of you. What do you like to do? Start doing that shit. Can't nobody stop you from being happy, man. You stop you from being happy. Like I say, man, blessings to the game, man. Blessings from the game, you know what I'm saying? I'm blessed to have this game. I ain't lacking. Niggas be out here lacking and slacking. And that's why them girls send y'all ass packing, man. But me, I ain't that type of guy. I'm a hustler, man. I'm a worker. I'm a slave to this game. I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed, to be, on top. Even if it takes me to fail, I'm still going to come back and try again. See, that's what Saginaw taught me. That's what Michigan taught me, man. To be resilient, to be strong, and to keep fighting. Fight to the end. Fight to the death. See, I feel like niggas from Michigan are the best fighters. And, I mean, Floyd Mayweather should show you. Niggas in Michigan have heart. So the people I've learned from, the guy that actually taught me to fight is in prison for the rest of his life, man, for murder. The guy that taught me how to fight. Like, and hopefully cuz get out, but if he don't, one thing, like I say, he gave me was the game, man. He taught me how to fight, bro. It don't matter if you get your ass whooped, nigga, you better fight. And him and cuz used to whoop my ass and bro ass in the basement, then make us lift weights. But they'd make us do that shit when everybody go to sleep, man. We was kids doing that shit. Everybody go to sleep, we'd go down in the basement and hit my granddad weights, man. 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. We'd hit them motherfucking weights all night until they about to get up, and then we'd go back upstairs and act like we sleep. Them niggas taught me how to be smart too, man. And like I say, them niggas gave me more game than I can ever use in one lifetime, man. So that's why I choose to share this game. Hopefully it helps somebody, But blessings to the game, y'all. I'll probably get back on here later, man, to talk about some other shit. I just needed to really get that shit off my mind, man. After YouTube verify me, though, I'm going to be on YouTube, and I'm going to shoot my videos over here and over on Instagram, and we're going to go from there, though. All about it.